time to talk about them third baseman, Nameco Dustin. What's going on? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. Like always, we'll have that top 150 cheat sheet up on the site. Be sure to check that out. Got any questions, post them in the forums, and be sure to check out all their other tiers and rankings. Brent, tier 1.
All right. He's in a league of his own. That's Cabrera. You know, what's there to say? Triple Crown, MVP. Hey, he's good at baseball. Clear cut guy. Arguably top 3 pick, arguably the #1 overall pick. He's awesome. Tier 2.
Pretty good. Tier 2, Longoria, Beltre, Wright. All these guys have the potential of putting up similar numbers to Cabrera. They can't quite get to where he is, but if you draft one of these guys, you're just crossing your fingers, hoping that they stay healthy. But if they do, expect big numbers. You're going to have to use a good draft pick to get them, but it could pay off.
Tier 3, I'm going to start off with number 5, and that's the Kung Fu Panda Sandoval out there with the Giants. You're going to hear, the reports are already out, he's coming into camp out of shape. But whatever, you hear that every year, and then he slips in the draft, and then every year he produces. We love him, Kung Fu Panda. And then number 9 with Chase Headley. It's kind of a little bit of a statement because he had a monster season. A third base is going to have 115 RBIs and 31 home runs. Ranked number 9. Might sound a little crazy, but we just don't like what the pick you have to spend to get him. This is the first time he's ever done it. We just want to see him do it again before we're willing to take the pick it takes to get him.
Tier 4, still a decent amount of talent here. You can still get some power in this tier. Starting with Pedro Alvarez, this guy has all the upside in the world. We've liked him previous years. Hasn't produced for us, but last year, 30 home runs out of this guy. You gotta love that. He's still young enough to where, you know, I really still feel like he's going up as far as his potential. Definitely some 30-plus home run potential again this year. And then Kyle Seager for Seattle.
Dustin loves him.
Decent young talent. You know, he definitely played well last year. 20 home runs, 13 stolen bases, which is nice out of your third baseman. You know, I expect him to improve over his numbers from last year.
All right, Tier 5, I'm talking about 15 and 16. The first one's Freeze, who actually won it over Seager, lost that battle in the rankings. That's neither here nor there. I think he's going to bat for average right around 300, if not at 300. And 20 home runs last year. I just like the point where you can get him in the draft. I love it. And then number 16, Manny Machado with the Baltimore Orioles. Young kid, love the upside, a lot of talent. Clearly a guy to look at later in the drafts.
Our last tier, how the mighty have fallen with the 2 that I'm going to talk about. Michael Young. You know, he still had over 610 at-bats last year. He was healthy, but he wasn't the Michael Young that we're used to. He only batted 277 at this point in his career. You got to ask yourself, you know, is he kind of going through what Ichiro went through as far as the average not being there and him losing his most important value that he gave to fantasy owners? So we think that's where he's got to be at this point in his career. And then Alex Rodriguez. You had to rank this guy just so that we could talk about him, but he is injured. He is going to be out for a good portion of the first part of the season, but who knows? He might be able to be there when it counts the most once his second hip surgery. That's what steroids will do.
Start taking the drugs, A-Rod. We need you back on the drugs.
That's what steroids will do to you.
Back on the drugs.
That'll do it for the third base tiers. Nameco over here.
Follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Advice. Like us on Facebook, Circle, Google+.
Subscribe
Forums.
to us.
Subscribe
on YouTube.
Just hit subscribe. You're right there.
It's right there.